Hey Crafty friend, it's me, Justine. I'm going to do something I've never done, which is watercolor die cut pieces. So join me on this journey here today. Let's wake up my watercolors. I like to mist it with my Mighty Mister and wake up my colors. So if you're new here, hi, I'm Justine. I am a crafter here on YouTube. I'm going to go ahead and do this on camera here today. And then at the end, I'll show you 2 more cards that I made with this more fresh picked collection. So I made a card from each section. I think my favorite one of the bunch is the fresh picked vase bouquet. I'll pop a picture on the screen of what that looks like. So gorgeous. I'll show you my finished card at the end of the video. But anyway, my inspiration for this card is a dramatic, bold look. So this is what my leaves are going to be, which is gold mirror cardstock and a black background. So I want to go bold with my flowers, and they are going to just pop, pop, pop. So I'm using Altenew watercolors, Spellbinders water brush. So I'm just going to just kind of play around with color, and we'll see how this goes. I don't really know what this will turn out like. I've never done this, so I'm first going to focus on these center pieces, like these little sprees and the middles, and kind of do like a yellowy, orangey kind of color to those. And then for the rest of the pieces, I'm going to kind of beef up the color and go kind of dark and bright. That does not make sense, but dark and bright, and make it pop. So let's just start with, let's see, we'll start with this yellowy color. Now they are super duper wet, my watercolors, so this will be a pretty quick color. And then I am going to grab my little tool that has a pokey end, tool-in-one. Where did it go? There it is. And this little point on my tool-in-one, it's definitely going to help me with holding pieces down and making sure things just get colored. Now, it will probably get all over my glass mats here. I don't care, because it will clean up with a spray or 2 of some water and a cloth. I'll probably use my Swedish dishcloth that I have in my craft room. Okay, that was not even that difficult. You really won't see that piece all that much, but I do want it to be very bright, so the part that is seen is poppin'. Okay, then these 3 pieces that are going to go on top of these. Why is there so many? I really don't know why there is 6 of those. Maybe I die cut out double. Who knows? I tell you. Sometimes I wonder about myself when I'm planning for these videos. Anyway, I'm going to go with like an orangey yellow on top of this one, so we'll use this one. I think this is called Fiery Sunset. And once my water dries, I will go ahead and pop out all of those little holes in the die cut. Oops, I grabbed the orange. Well, I was planning on these being orange, so why don't we just go ahead and do that. The fun idea I had in my head about die cutting watercolors, die cutting and then watercoloring them, was really to get like a good blend and have very bright, vibrant colors and a very quick application of all of this. And yes, by the way, I did die cut out all these pieces in watercolor paper. The watercolor paper I like is from Spellbinders. There's also a Bristol, I think it's Bristol, it's blue. It has like an XL on the outside. I have that in my craft room. Just find something that's high quality, nice and thick. Because when you are watercoloring, you're going to be using water, and if you get a cheapo set, you're going to have your paper kind of warp and things, and then it won't be good for when you're gluing. So this paper is definitely nice and strong. Alright, so that's all set. And then now I have these like little little pieces, which I kind of left in this scrap because I didn't want to have a mess, really. I do have just a rag that I keep in my craft room. I'm going to use this for kind of cleaning out my brush. With the water brushes, it's super easy to just kind of squeeze the bottle part of this and water comes out, and just like that, it is fairly clean. Alright, so for these, I'm kind of avoiding these, to be frank with you, because I'm nervous about messing it up, but if you were here in the craft room doing it with me, I'd tell you just to go for it. So I'm going to follow my own advice. So these pieces, these 5 pieces, are going to be connecting the flower to the gold part. So I think I want to do like a green yellow here. So I'm going to use Rainforest, which I know is a very bright green, and just kind of pounce and whittle on these pieces. Something that's just going to be a tiny piece of the whole picture, but it will kind of be a nod to, yes, this is green, a green flower with a gold base. And then this piece kind of goes on this trumpeted flute piece, so this needs to be lighter than this. This is going to be darker. So now I'm basically at the point where I need to decide what in the world I'm doing. What color will I make the flower? I know I want the centers like a yellowy orange. Let's see, black and gold. I think I'm going to go pink. I've been doing a lot of pink cards lately, but it just kind of, it suits me. I don't know. Well, with that being said, I'm going to just dive right in and start. So this back piece is going to be this really deep pink. And then this piece is going to go over it. So I'll just pop some color on there. With watercolors, it doesn't have to be smooth. It can be kind of opaque. It can be, you know, light and dark in some spots. It doesn't have to be perfect. So, FYI. I like that that's darker. Can you hear the birds, you guys? Spring is here. I'm so happy. Okay, now we have this. I'll go with this one since my brush is still kind of watered down. That's going to be kind of the same piece. And then this dark piece, I'll grab some more color that I kind of lost and make that nice and dark. Okay, so now here's where the actual like thinking and skill comes into play. These flowers. So the flowers have kind of covers. So like these little pieces here are going to be the covers for this flower. So I don't want to really fuss too much with the top because it's going to be covered. But I am going to use pink, so I'm not going to wash out my brush. And then these 3 rings are going to go on these 3 bigger flowers. So let's focus on these like little the trumpet and then the gumdrop one, just to kind of get me started here and get my toe in the water. So because the top is covered, I'm going to start kind of here and then just bring the color down. Oop, my brush is a little dry. And starting at the top again, bring the color down. I know that kind of was like nerve-wracking for me. I really do want this to turn out how it is in my head, but we'll see if that happens. Okay, so those 2 are fine. I'm not going to fuss with them too much because I know that kind of the more I fuss, the weirder things turn out. Okay, now for these 3, I'm going to do kind of the same technique where I'm going from the top and pulling down. all of that pigment is on the tip of my brush, so I'm going to spread it out and see if this helps for moving the color down. So far, so good. That one was a little dark for what I was going for, but that's okay. Maybe we'll do some different techniques here, and I'll kind of do a little bit of a fade there. I think this one got way too dark, but that's fine. I'm just going to move some of the color over to this one. Because I'm using a really good paper, I can kind of wiggle my brush on this and I'm not getting beads of paper, which is really nice. And then I'll just kind of stroke my brush down so when it dries it hopefully gives a little bit of some brush movements there. Do you see on this one how I have like a dark and a light spot? That's kind of what I was going for. I think I really overworked those two. So I'm going to let those kind of dry a little bit, and then I'm going to go back in with some more darker color, like more of the pigment, I guess, and just see if I can kind of darken the sides a little bit. What do you know? The fifth one was the one that I really liked the best, because it seems to have like the petaled look. There we go. Okay, and then we'll go back to the little gumdrop. I hope you're doing so well. Right now when I'm filming this, it is spring break, and it's been an interesting spring break. Let's see, a little bit of snow at the beginning. Went to a funeral of a very dear friend's father who died right before Easter. Went on a date with my husband. Let's see what else. Made a whole bunch of cards. I'm trying to kind of prepare for the month ahead, and I have some things coming up with Spellbinders next month. If you don't know, I'm part of the Weekender event, which is going to be kind of a big deal. So I am trying to beef up my technology and try to get my internet to be a little bit stronger, working with an Ethernet cord, blah blah blah, a lot of tech stuff. So hopefully everything works out for that. If you're joining me, please let me know in the comments. I am super honored and excited about that, but I'm also getting a little bit nervous because there's like some big names in that event, like Jennifer McGuire, Nicole Sporer, BB Cameron. Anyway, we'll just leave it at that. But I'm going to just move these off to the side because the more I fuss with them, the more they're not going to kind of fit my vision. So I'm just gonna, no. See, this one with this one and the other one that got dark, I really want it to be lighter. So I'm kind of pressing on here, hopefully, yeah. See, now I have a white spot. Good. Oh, getting into it, you know? Okay, well, that will dry. Any spot that I don't like in the end, I will probably just add a sentiment over it, because why not? Okay, now for this part, I'm going to try something that I've wanted to try before, but I have not. But I'm going to spray my pieces first with water, so they're nice and saturated. And now these 3 rings I want to be a little bit darker than my flower base down here, so kind of like this color. So I'm just going to kind of pounce the color on here and let the water move it. Let's see if this works. I've done this with watercolors before, but not on flowers, or certainly not on die cut pieces. Okay, we're getting a little watery, so I think I need to add some more pigment on there. I am kind of leaning towards adding this next color right next to the pink, this red Cosmos. I think I'm gonna do it. I'm doing it. Yep, that's happening. I'm gonna move my spray bottle. It's in the shadow. I think I need to add some red Cosmos to this little guy too. My too much brain kicks in, and that's what gets me in trouble with watercolor, because I don't leave things alone, which is not good. Okay. Those are looking great. I think I need to add just a little bit more pink. I don't want it to be too watery. I do want these rings to be nice and dark. Oh, just got my finger in the orange. Yeah, that's perfect. There's probably a lot of water underneath there, so I'm just gonna kind of move it around so it can exist without the water. Alright, I am pleased with everything so far. I'm going to go ahead and let everything dry. I'm physically going to walk away from the project. I find that if I don't do that with watercolor, I sit in a fuss and wreck things. So I'm not going to do that. And once everything is dry, I will pop back on the camera and show you what I've made. Sorry for all the glitter all over my hands. I just filmed my hop video for Pajama Crafter stamps, and I use glitter in that video. The glitter is everywhere now, so that's okay. Alright, we'll see it in just a little bit. If you don't want to sit and wait for your watercolor to dry, you can use your heat embossing gun, or heat gun, or whatever you want to call it, embossing heat tool. Good grief. And make it dry. So that's an option as well. Just be careful with the glass top. Well, everything is all dry now. So now it's time to assemble. So for this, I'm going to just speed it up and put a little music on so you'll see me assembling, and then I'll jump it back at the end of the video just to kind of share my 2 cents on how everything came out. I don't really know if I like this technique or not yet because I haven't had the chance to see any of the pieces assembled, so I'll let you know at the end of the video. Oh boy, it's already sticking to my glass mat. Such a good sign. I don't know why I'm talking like I am reading a story to my kindergartners. Everyone sit crisscross applesauce on the rug. Okay, enough silliness. now that I'm finished assembling everything, I do love the texture and dimension that the watercolor paper and the watercolor painting gave. I think if I had to do this again, I would maybe pre-glue all the flowers together and then let it dry, maybe like completely overnight, and then watercolor the flower as it is. I would love to see more shadows under the flower. I really like how this one turned out, where I have dark spots and highlighted areas. I wasn't too keen on pulling out my white gel pen to add detail. I feel like this maybe doesn't call for that, but I do love the pairing of the gold and the black. I put it on some craft paper as a simple border. It's really skinny, but I really do like how this turned out. And then I did pair it with a Better Press Sentiment. This is one of the newer ones from this month's release. I think it's Cheers to You. I think that's what it's called. Anyway, here are some other ones that I made. So like I said, there's 3 die sets in this collection, and I really, really like this one. This one, I mean, look at it. Maybe it's not your jam, but this is like totally me. This was one of the cards I made on spring break here. I am just enjoying my time and really falling in love with lots of layers. So I used a lot of Spellbinders paper for the greens there. The dies are really long and big, so I did use quite a lot of green paper. And then I die cut all the flowers with a cream, which is what I used when I made my Simon Hurley tulip card. I'll pop that on the screen here so you can see. Don't mind the watercolor on my hand. But anyway, I found that with cream, I don't know why, but it really does work well for coloring. So I'm probably going to use that again. I also put a Better Press plate on the back, and it made this really cool design on the back. It kind of reminds me of like a henna tattoo, or I don't know. It just, to me, really was kind of funky and fun in the back. And then I paired this with a Thanks sentiment. That is a stamped sentiment from the new Spellbinders release. And then the You Are the Best, or yeah, You Are the Best, You're the Best. It's a little late. But there's no bedtime with spring break. Anyway, this was from that same Better Press sentiment pack. And then this one, I challenged myself. I said, you're going to do a clean and simple card. And clean and simple cards are mostly white. So just being really frank with you, I don't love this one. I love the flowers, and I like the example that Spellbinders gives on like their product picture with the blue and purple. I thought that was really pretty, but they added more greens, and it has 1 more flower, or 2 more flowers actually, to add to it. And I do like their example better than this, but I do think that this is a good, clean, and simple card, even though it has 5 embellishments. I'm just saying. But anyway, I wanted to stretch myself. That's why I chose to do a watercolor die cuts. I chose to do a Better Press background on this one, and then a clean and simple. I really am just enjoying my time, having so much fun crafting, and just kind of loving all of this. So I hope that you are able to do that in your craft room as well. And if you grabbed the first round of the fresh picked dies, I don't know, maybe you can kind of mix and match some of these pieces. Maybe you could put one of these on this little branch. Maybe you could kind of do a little bit of mixing and get some really fun florals. But I love this one with the pot. I think it's kind of a tie between these two for my favorite. But if you could find a favorite and let me know in the comments, I would love to know. And I'd also love to know if you would be willing to try doing watercoloring on your die cuts. Are you brave enough to try? I want to know. Oh, by the way, I used Copics to color these flowers, but I did use the green paper just as it was from Spellbinders. So anyway, I'll just go ahead over the product designs one more time before I end this video. This one is the Fresh Picked Daisies. This one is the Fresh Picked Vase Bouquet. And this one is the Fresh Picked Angel Trumpets. I mean, come on. Flower names are just so cool sometimes. Angel Trumpets. I now I'm thinking that I probably should have Googled angel trumpets before I chose this color, but you know, maybe maybe I was spot on with pink. I don't know. Anyway, I hope that you've had an enjoyable time here with me on YouTube. If you've liked the video, go ahead and hit the like button and subscribe for more. I really do appreciate interacting with you in the comments. I try to answer comments as soon as possible. So if you do comment, know that I will write back to you. And if you want to show me what you made with this set, I would love to see your creations on the Facebook page that I have started and have been running for years now. We have 9,000 people in our group. It's just amazing, full of inspiration. Come on over to the Spellbinders Maker group on Facebook and share your makes with us. Thank you again for watching all the way to the end. We'll see you next time. Happy crafting. Bye.